Hello and welcome to Citrus Connect Recruitment. We are joined here today by Billy Grant. Welcome, Billy.
Thank you.
Billy is the, let me get this right, you are the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer at Everest, and you are one of three who actually sit on the board, is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Lena.
Perfect, brilliant. So just wanted to bring you on here. I know we're helping you with your recruitment of your field sales consultants, and it was really important to us that people really get a feel for the company, and who better than yourself to really share an insight into the culture and what it really means to join Everest as a company. But before we go into that, Billy, tell us about your journey with Everest.
Yeah, okay. It's very interesting because it probably identifies a very clear career path that you can have at Everest. I joined 19 years ago as a field sales consultant, a trainee sales consultant, and worked my way through the various titles. So I became the sort of #1 sales consultant in the UK 2 years back to back. I then went on and took an area, became an area agent, as it's known, or area manager. I built a team successfully there, and they became sort of top in the UK with that, and then went on to becoming a divisional sales manager at the time. I was one of 24, and again was #1 in the UK. We then had a change of ownership back in 2012 when Better Capital bought us, and the divisional managers went from 24 to 6. I was lucky to be one of those, and I headed up Scotland at that time, and still remained #1 at that point. Then went on and sort of got more and more areas. I went down to sort of the line across Manchester, over to the Isle of Man, and all the way up the country became mine. And then in 2016, I became one of 2 sales directors. Company had a change of mind, the way the direction we were going. So rather than 1 sales director, we had 2. And we went on to, again, be very, very successful. And then it was just last June, mid-June, I became then the sales and marketing director for the whole of the UK. And we decided to have the synergy between the 2 areas, which it made total sense. And we were doing really, really well until, like most businesses, March the 23rd came, and boom, things didn't go so well. We were really trading well, and we were very profitable. And in fact, at that time, the 4 board members, we then went through the process to rescue the business, to be fair. It's a big company, nationwide, probably, if not the most well-known home improvement brand in the industry, and we had to rebuild it. And we decided with our Better Capital, Mr. Moulton, benefactor, we decided we would invest, and there are 3 of us on the board, as you said at the beginning, of which I am one, and I then became the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer. So it shows at Everest that it is possible to start right at the grassroots level, and not only just get onto the board, but be a co-owner of the business as well. So Fantastic. It's an interesting story, and I've been known as Mr. Everest for quite a number of years, because the interesting fact around that, and you couldn't make this up, was that the very day and the very month and the very year that Everest was incorporated as a company, I was also born.
No way!
Yeah. So
it was meant to be, Billy, right?
It was meant to be. That's what everyone says. It was absolutely meant to be.
Absolutely. So you talk a lot about how, as an area agent, a divisional, you were #1, and I take it that you are motivated by a challenge and you strive to be the best. What has been the secret to your success to get you from a field sales consultant to now Chief Sales and Marketing Officer within Everest? What's the secret sauce?
The secret sauce, lots of people have tried to ply me with drink over the years at conferences, but it's really straightforward. It's hard work. If you treat it, because being a self-employed field sales consultant, got to be honest, you're only paid on your results. And if you treat it like it's a proper job, some people fall into the sort of mistakes of going and collecting the children, or going and shopping and doing all these various things. You wouldn't do that if you were clocking in or clocking out in an environment. the beauty of it is that you've got the flexibility though to do those things I've mentioned, as long as you then go back to your work, because the evening is a very important part of it, as is the morning to build up your appointments. So the secret is hard work never goes unrewarded. That's what I've always said at Everest over the 19 years I've been here, and it's stood me in great stead. And anyone that I've ever coached or have worked for me have seen that and been really successful, earned lots of money, and you know, done things that you could only dream of, to be fair.
Yeah. So when you say hard work and flexibility, how many hours a day are we looking at for a field sales consultant out in the
If
field?
you were to commit to 8 hours a day, which is what you would commit to in
Normal.
the real world, I can tell you you'll be massively successful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people think they can do it in 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's not the case. People seem to sometimes want more for less. If you just stick to the 40-hour week, you will be very, very successful.
Absolutely. So success seems to be a common theme throughout Everest. So what is the culture? You know, people want to know what the culture is at Everest and how you breed that culture within your kind of sales organization.
Yeah. Everest, and I've heard this from many people who have joined us, especially, you know, after COVID there, when we come into Everest 20 Limited, is that they find Everest a very unique sort of proposition in the home improvement industry, because what it is this huge respect for everyone in the organization, no matter what position you are. It's as important as the position I sit in, because I'm only successful if they are successful. So, you know, their success is my success. So every person in the organization has to be touched by that. You know, I'm not someone that, although lately with COVID, I am office kind of bound, but I'm very much a field operator, and I'm not someone that's hidden away. And doesn't matter what level you are in this business, you will see the board. You know, we're very, very open, and we have great communication lines from all levels of the business. But the main thing is that people are respected, they are rewarded, and really highly rewarded for a hard work, because we know for a fact that we pay the highest commissions. We have the best incentives in the industry by a country mile. And if you put the hard yards in, then you know you will definitely be in a really financially secure position.
We were wowed by the incentives that you do have in place at the moment. Do you just want to tell our viewers about some of the incentives that you have?
I've actually got the incentive, the book here that I made up through COVID. But yeah, so things like we have a Millionaires League, and next year, all things being equal, of course, but we've made the trips later in the year. So the trips run right through, our financial year ends at the end of May. So that's when you qualify. So the top one is the Millionaires League, and next year we're going to be jetting off to Singapore and Bali.
Wow.
So, all inclusive for a week, basically staying at the Fairmount Signature Hotel in Singapore. So again, just money can't buy experiences.
No.
The Master Sales League this year, we're going to the Mexican Riviera, again all inclusive for you and your partner, for again 5 nights of absolute indulgence and luxury, again that money can't buy. And then we have the Grand League, which again an old favourite, sort of quote going back to the future, old favourite of ours was Tenerife, and again we're going back there for a 4-day luxury break. You know, in the top hotel on the island, with everything sort of inclusive and taken care of. We also have a number of other awards. We have a Quality Club, where we believe everybody in the organisation, the sales organisation, can win. And that's a terrific day out. We haven't released the venue yet. We keep some surprises up our sleeve. So that's returning. We also have our Christmas hamper, which has been famous at Everest for the past sort of 55 years, where you know, we have different leagues within that. There are 4 different levels of Christmas hampers, and this year they're themed all around the sort of trips that we're going on as well. So again, nice to receive just before Christmas, and the excitement and the tradition at Everest is that the family all get involved opening up the nice hamper baskets and whatever. On top of that, we are obviously conscious that we are different to other home improvement companies in the sector, is that our field sales consultants do generate their own appointments as well. For that, they're obviously very heavily rewarded from a monetary point of view. But we also have a bonus system in place for them where they can earn up to £20,000 extra on top of their commissions if they get to the necessary leagues. And then if that's not enough, you can also have lunch with me if you so wanted, because we have the sales director's lunch, as we call it. We do 2 in the year, and it's open to everyone. The first one, where it's going to take place, all things being equal, in February, which is at the Winburn Room at the Ritz.
Wow.
We always take people to places that you would always think, wow, that would be a real lifetime sort of, great place to go. The one after that is even more spectacular and may even involve a helicopter. So, but we'll keep our lips tight on that at the moment. So lots and lots and lots of incentives continually. And we do spot ones throughout each month as well.
Yeah. So we've talked about self-generation, we've talked about hard work and success. What does the day in the life of a field sales consultant look like, Billy?
Well, it's really, again, if you can get into the disciplines, I'm a disciplinarian, and that's why it worked for me and still works for me to this day, is that if you can get into a habit, and a habit takes 21 continuous days to get. And if you can get into that habit, you will have great success. So the day will start off at around about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So not an early start by any matter of being. And, you should be looking at canvassing for an hour and a half. And that's basically knocking doors and getting appointments. Now, that might frighten some people. We understand that. But please, please remember, we train people fully before we ever take them to that. And we do have a very good coaching system. There are also lots of other ways of doing self-gen activity, maybe by telephone, maybe by putting your ad in the paper, etc., etc. There's loads and loads of ways around it. But if you can do that for the first hour and a half of your day, then hopefully you would have an appointment in the afternoon then, whether it be from a lead generation point of view or from one of your own self-generated appointments. You would do that for a couple of hours, then a rest before you then go out in the evening. And the best time to knock would be between 5 and 7. Again, going back on your outs, because your morning part of it, you won't get everybody in. You'll probably speak to about 15 people. If you can get into the habit of speaking to between 40 and 50 people a day, you will get to the point that you'll be making 2 appointments. Therefore, that generates over the week, you would have 10 appointments. Now, you'll not get into all of them because you're not looking for a sale, you're looking for an appointment. So you would probably get into 6 of those. Demonstrating 6 appointments will generate 2 sales. Average order value of about £5,800. So that will give you a nice income. If you were able to achieve that, and it will take a few weeks to achieve that, you'll definitely be earning somewhere in the region of about 50,000 a year.
Yeah. It's amazing money what people can earn, isn't it, in a self-employed direct sales role. I mean, what we're really passionate about at Citrus Connect is the amount of lives that we've been able to change by giving them an opportunity to have an uncapped income where they can go from having a dream of owning their own house or going on 5-star holidays to actually making that a reality. Tell me some stories. You must have loads to tell, but tell me some stories of some field sales consultant where the lives have literally, they've come in, done the work, they've done the do, and their lives have changed.
Yeah, I could tell you lots of stories on that. I'll start with myself. I wasn't very well off when I joined Everest at all. Although I'd come from a retail industry, I worked a lot of hours. And okay, my salary at the time was generous enough, but not anywhere near. Basically, my first year in Everest, I earned the same money. But I wasn't responsible for 300 people. I wasn't responsible for a building that was turning over £22 million at the time. I was responsible for myself.
Yes.
And it became a way of life where, as I said, and I continually say to this day, I pinch myself every day I wake, because if you get yourself into that discipline I spoke about earlier, then you have a wonderful world, a wonderful life ahead. It's interesting you said uncapped income. That's exactly it. There is no glass ceiling at Everest whatsoever. And if you want to do a little bit extra, it's the only place, I've always said this, it's the only place where if you got an unexpected bill coming through the door, firstly, it shouldn't be unexpected, but if you did, and it was say for £1,000, it's the only place I can see that you could go out that morning and come home that evening with £1,000.
Yeah.
From my point of view, yes, I mean, again, we'll show you all these clever things, you know, postcards from the future and all that. The great thing with Everest is you don't need to invest in those 5-star or money can't buy experiences because you'll win them naturally. You'll actually win them, and all the income then it goes into your own home. So you could start off with, you know, owning a very small flat, you know, or not even owning a home at all and going on to the property ladder. And that's what I did over the years. I own a lovely big house now, you know, in the north of Scotland. You know, and again, it depends what your passion is. You know, you look at cars as well, you know, and it's a great thing in the sales world, cars, motor cars always have been. So, you know, I started off on a, believe it or not, on a Vauxhall Corsa, you know, and cars are my passion. And I've had the Aston Martins and, you know, Mercedes and all that. I have them to this day because it's my passion. So it brings you into a world that it's hard to believe that you can do it, but you've got to get the belief and you've got to take the stepping stones.
Yeah.
Loads of other consultants that have worked with me over the years, you know, again, same stories. They started off not owning a home at all, building up, you know, to buying perhaps, you know, a small flat, then going into grandeur. And, you know, I have some area agents now as well who are, you know, are in palatial, you know, mansions. And same, you know, cars, you know, if you see the car park signs, you'll see the Range Rovers, the Mercedes, the Jaguars, you know, the BMWs, all those things. But again, you know, it's about taking your own family holidays as well. And instead of, you know, you can upgrade, you know, and have a suite instead of a typical hotel room. And that's the kind of great things that this job will afford you. And that's just by going out and doing a couple of extra hours here or there in that week that can pay for that holiday. And then the rest of it, you allocate to, you know, building your home up to what you want that to be and all these things. It's incredible. People locally, to me, it's been quoted, and I've heard them from afar, if I've been in for a beer now and again, is that's the guy that won the lottery. I didn't win the lottery at all. I just worked hard. And I still work very hard to this day, because you have to. But if you can put that hours in, the disciplines in, it will be life-changing. It can be life-changing, but and by the way, it doesn't go in a straight line straight away. And when it starts to, then you will cheat. You will try and cheat the system, but it won't let you. You'll try and do it with less, but you then have to sort of be a little bit embarrassed yourself and go, yeah, I now know where I went wrong. Go back to the basics. It's a proven scheme. You know, we have a motto, CAPO, it's called: contacts, appointments, presentations, and orders. It's been in the business for 55 years. It has never changed through whatever era we're in. Of course, selling techniques have changed, but the principles and, you know, the formulas are exactly the same today as they were 50 years ago. And you know, that's the important part. As far as never being in sales before, I was never in sales before. Never. So anybody can come into this industry. You just need a bit of a bubbly personality, a really can-do attitude, positivity, lay out the disciplines which we'll help with, and you will have success.
It really is a level playing field, isn't it, for Everest? And that's what we love about working with you and, you know, recruiting for you, that we give people an opportunity where they literally can change their lives. And you've shown how you've done that for yourself, but for other divisionals that are in your team as well. Fantastic.
You can see it throughout all the ranking. But by the way, you know, there are a lot of people who are field sales consultants and don't want to take the career path, but they're earning really lovely money and, you know, a really lovely way of life. I mean, I didn't take my step onto the management side at Everest for 4 years. You know, so, you know, because I was enjoying, you know, really big money and, you know, a really great lifestyle as well. But again, I was hungry because I was in management before and I wanted to make sure I could change some of the things at Everest at the time for better, which I've done. So, you know, but there's a clear career path. So even if you want to start off as a field sales consultant, you can go up the ladder quite quickly and, you know, sort of 19 years on, here I am. So it's proven it's not someone that's not real, because lots of organizations, you'll think, oh yeah, so and so's done this, but do they exist? Well, in this company they do. And we've got lots of other stories from the other sector. Our operations side, our operations director again started on the tools, fitting windows himself as well. So clear career paths within all the different types of the operation.
It's really interesting how you mentioned that you came from a retail management background. Yes. What was the reason for you to consider direct sales as an option for your career?
Well, I firstly was in the hotel industry. That's where I have my degree in, and I went into that. And then I was headhunted by a national brand, and I sort of was a little unsure because I hadn't got the experience in retail, and I was going in at a fairly higher level. But it's adapting, the customer focus, customer service, and what you don't know, you can read at the back of the tin, as they say, I think there was a famous varnish company used to quote that, and it's adapting all those skills. And I think I was at the glass ceiling level. It was there, and I didn't know how I wanted to. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take to get to the next level, and it was only giving me smaller amounts of increment rises in salary. When I was 5 years old, I told my mum I would be a millionaire. Coming from a council house background, that's quite bizarre. But I knew I had that drive in me. So when I went to Everest, which, by the way, I didn't follow the path that we have now, clearly with you. For some reason back then, they didn't tell you who the company was, nor what the position was. So when I applied for it, I was one of those people that went, "You're kidding me on. You want me to knock doors? You're not going to pay me any money unless I actually sell something?" And so I was nearly one of those people that walked out of that interview going, "No chance. A double glazing salesman." But it's not that at all. And if I hadn't taken that leap of faith, which I basically turned the interview on its head, and it's kind of bizarre looking back on it. And I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you 4 weeks of my time. If everything that you're promising me is true, then I should be successful." And they said, "Yes." And there we go. And I have to say, yes, 4 weeks on, I was selling by myself and everything, but it takes longer than that. You can't become a fully qualified joiner in 4 or 6 weeks. You've got to do some kind of apprenticeship. Now, the great news for you is that it won't take you 4 years to become a skilled salesman, but every day is a learning day, and you'll get better and better. And the more you practice, the more you learn. So you've got to always take that into account, that it is, there isn't a salary there as such, and you've got to take the word that, we've been around a long time, and, we are the leaders in the home improvement sector, and it's all there, all proven, and we will do everything. You have to do your bit though, which is the hard work and get the disciplines in place. Doing that, we're clear.
What I love about your story is that, sometimes people look at a self-employed direct sales role and feel it's an entry-level sales role. But what I love about your story is you've really turned that on its head and said, well, I got to the highest level of management and my income was capped. I wanted to be a millionaire. So I turned to direct sales. And I love that story. It's amazing.
It's true. You can pick up all those books that some people, think, it's not true, or it won't happen to me. It's only you that stops yourself, no one else. And I took a leap of faith from being in a fairly well-paid job at that time, 19 years ago, with what I felt was security and everything, and took the chance that I'm now going from that earnings to zero. But you have to have confidence in yourself, confidence in that brand, and that's the thing with Everest, fit the best. Why would you want to work for anyone else? It's got the best. So what do you want to do? Represent the best. And so that's what it was. It was a leap of faith. I was skeptical. I have to tell you that now. It would have been the biggest mistake of my life not taking that 4 week. I was a little cheeky at the interview by saying, "I'll give you 4 weeks of my time," because they sent me on that residential course, which still exists. Unfortunately, COVID, it's not at the moment. We do it, through Teams and things.
Yeah.
But those days will return. We know they
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
2021, we'll see those things return. You
Yeah.
stick into it. You follow the formulas. You take the guidance from your mentor, your coach, your manager, and that's it. Put in that part. They'll give you the recipe. You need to put it together, and then it works.
Yeah. I have to say, massive kudos to you and your team, Billy. I've never met such a passionate sales management team, somebody who really takes their new field sales consultants under their wing, gives them all the tools that they need to become successful. And, and I've witnessed that myself. And it's just amazing to see how a new starter can come in and start earning money pretty much straight away with the coaching and the development that they get from their area agent.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a great compliment. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Billy. It's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege. I know your time is valuable, so thank you so, so much. Hope you've got a great insight into Everest, their culture. So if you do want to apply for the role, please click on the link below or visit our website.